Alright class, so in this tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to install a new GFCI AFCI outlet. A lot of people requested that they want to know more about electricity. Okay, so here's my disclaimer first of all. I don't want you guys trying this at home. Don't do this at home unless you are with a parent who knows what they're doing. Working with electricity can be really dangerous. You can get shocked, you can die. And on top of that, if you wire something up wrong, you can burn down your house. You can cause thousands of dollars in problems. And so, again, do not try this at home. This is for education purposes only. This is just to show you guys basically how these outlets work, how outlets in general work, and maybe get you guys interested in, being an electrician. How does this relate back to agriculture? Like I've always said, right? Agriculture, you have to kind of know how to do everything. Okay, so here is my tutorial video. Again, do not try this at home. Do not do this on your own. Do this, if anything, with someone that knows what they're doing or a qualified electrician. Another side note, so this is a GFCI AFCI outlet. GFCI stands for ground fault circuit interrupter. AFCI stands for arc fault circuit interrupter. Okay, I think in this video I called it a control interrupter. Okay, I don't know why I kept mentioning it as that, but again, it stands for ground fault circuit interrupter. Okay, and that's what we're going to be installing today. Alright guys, so one of the more highly requested things when I asked what you guys wanted to learn was a lot of you guys want to learn about electrical. So today I'm just going to teach you guys some basics about electrical. I'm not going to teach you really anything advanced because I don't want you guys burning down your house. Okay, but here I'm taking video of anybody know what this is? No, I'm asking because I don't know what it is either. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I know what this is. Okay, if you guys don't know, every house should have one or two, depending on how big your house is, maybe you have 3 of these somewhere in your house, but this is called a circuit breaker, okay, or breaker box. Okay, basically in this little box area are all the different circuits in your house. Okay, now I'll go over a little bit later how these work. Okay, but if you guys notice, there's numbers on these little switches. Now these right here, this is your circuit breaker. Okay, the number you see on there, so these are 30, these are 20, we even got some 15s. Okay, basically the way these work is, okay, if for some reason you have a short circuit in your circuit, okay, these circuit breakers are automatically designed to shut off. Okay, now the numbers represent how many amps it takes to shut off that circuit. So for example, these ones up top, okay, if you guys notice, this is for the dryer. Okay, the dryer consumes a lot of amperage, a lot of current. So in order to shut off this breaker, okay, more than 30 amps have to pass through that circuit, and they'll automatically switch off. Okay, now these are your typical breakers right here. Okay, if for some reason there's a short circuit, bam, that thing automatically switches off. I'm not going to short out my house to show you that it automatically does it. Essentially, that's what happens. It switches to off. The circuit becomes from closed to open. That opens the circuit, so no more electricity flows through that circuit, and it protects from any kind of serious issues Okay, so again, this is your breaker box. That's the way that works. Okay, right now this circuit is off. Okay, now I'm turning off that circuit because I'm going to be doing an outlet on that circuit, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. So before you work on any electrical in your house, make sure that that circuit is off. You don't have to turn off all the switches. You just got to make sure that whatever electrical work you're doing, that circuit is off. And so I'm going to be working in the kitchen, dining area. Bam. Switch off that circuit manually, and then now it's safe for me to go ahead and work in that circuit. Alright guys, so this is the outlet I'm going to be working on right here. Okay, that old looking outlet. This thing I think is the original from like the 1970s. So what I'm going to be doing is installing what is called a GFCI or AFCI outlet. The GFCI is ground fault control indicator. AFCI is arc fault control indicator outlets, and these are just safety outlets to make sure that if there is a ground, it automatically switches off. It's like a circuit breaker for just the outlet itself, just like a double layer protection. Now the reason why I'm installing this one is it's a GFCI AFCI. So arc fault control indicator is more of a safety thing because it detects arc faults, which are the main cause of house fires. So if it notices any extra resistance in the circuit, if it detects any kind of like arcs that are happening, maybe like the wires are bad or something, that circuit automatically turns off. So it's just like an extra layer of protection for my house. Okay, so here's the outlet I want to replace with the GFCI AFCI outlet. Okay, now it's good to work on, right? I turned off that circuit. You guys saw me do it. I went in the breaker box. But before you just trust that you got the right circuit, this is what you do. You just get like a little light. So I have like a little night light. Okay, plug it in, and nothing. What? Why isn't it? Okay, if it has a button, make sure to press the button. Just make sure that the light itself is not off. This one just has a sensor. So this light is off. That's what it's supposed to be, right? That means that this circuit is off. This outlet is off. That means it's safe to work on. Okay, so you always want to just double check to make sure that whatever electrical box or whatever electrical outlet you're working on is definitely off, and don't just assume that you have the right circuit, right? So again, just plug in. You can plug in a lamp, you can plug in a night light like this. Okay, I'm just gonna cover it. I don't know if it detects light. Okay, yeah, and definitely this light is off, and so that outlet is safe to work on. All right guys, so again, here's the outlet. I think in my previous clip, it's a little early in the morning, I was saying that I was installing a GFCI AFCI, which again stands for ground fault control interrupter. I think I called it indicator. Now the reason why I call it indicator is, you know, there's an indicator light on it, but the true definition for a GFCI AFCI is ground fault control interrupter, or arc fault control interrupter. Okay, so the I stands for interrupter, right? But here is one installed. It's on a different circuit, but essentially that's what this outlet's going to look like. Okay, they're two different circuits, that's why. Okay, so again, testing to make sure no power's flowing through it. Okay, light's not going on. Should be good to go. All right, start off by taking off the ball plate. Very easy to do. So there's just one flathead screw right in the middle there. This might be a little tricky to do with one hand. wall plate comes off. Now you get the outlet exposed. Okay, that's what it looks like. All right, so I have the outlet out. All I have to do is take off these two. You can see it. There's a screw up top and a screw in the bottom. Take those out. And from there, the outlet can come out. Okay, now again, disclaimer, do not try to do this at home. The reason why I'm showing you this is just so you guys have a basic background knowledge of electricity. Don't try to tackle this by yourself. You can burn down your house basically, unless you know what you're doing. Okay, it might be a project, maybe your dad's an electrician, maybe you want to do this project with your dad. Do it with someone that knows what they're doing. Again, this is just so you guys have a concept of how all the outlets are working in your house. Okay, on top of that, these outlets come with instruction manuals, so you could do it at home, but follow the instruction manual. Definitely follow the instruction manual. Okay, so now again, I have this outlet exposed. Now what I have to do is now, okay, there's 4 wires, okay? There's black and there's white, okay? Now, one of these sets of wires, so a set is a white and a black, is the line wires, the other are the load wires, okay? I have to identify which one's which. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to disconnect one set of one white wire, one black wire, and I'm going to figure out which one is which. Okay, so I get a little bit more room. If you guys notice, these ones are not attached to the side. Usually they'll kind of throw that wire around and attach it to the side screw. These are attached to the back. Okay, so a little older style, so there's like these clips I have to release it. I can't do that while I'm using the videotape or while I'm videotaping, so there's little clips that I have to release back here, and that's going to release the wire. So I'm going to do that and I'll show you guys what it looks like after. Alright, so here I released 2 of the wires, and I'll show you guys how to do that right after. But so I disconnected a white wire and a black wire coming from the same cable. You guys can see that, and I capped them. Okay, now the reason why I have to cap them is I have to turn on that circuit breaker again and basically determine, okay, if this outlet is working or not. Okay, basically if the outlet's still working, these 2 wires are disconnected are the load wires. Okay, if I turn on the circuit breaker, plug in my light, and the light doesn't turn on, that means these 2 wires are disconnected are the line wires. Okay, line basically means power is going into this outlet via these 2 wires. Okay, so if these were the line wires, that's what's powering the outlet. Okay, the load wires are going from this outlet to another outlet on the same circuit. Okay, so if these are the load wires, okay, the circuit, or if these 2 are the load wires, that means that this circuit is still getting power from these wires, which are the line wires. Okay, and so these wires are going to another outlet. So all I have to do is determine, okay, which wires are these, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to turn on the circuit breaker, plug in my light, and see if it turns on or not. Okay, so my circuit breaker is back on. I'm just going to plug in this light. Be very careful when you do so. Touch the sides, okay, and the light doesn't turn on. Okay, what that tells me again is, okay, that these wires are disconnected. These are the line wires. Okay, the reason why is these wires are receiving power from the circuit breaker. Okay, that way. Okay, so they're receiving power from the circuit breaker, so that means that this outlet is still off because it's not receiving any power. That must mean that the ones connected still are the load wires, meaning they go to a different circuit. but they're not receiving power right now because the line wires are disconnected. Make sense? Okay, so now that I have that, I can install my GFCI AFCI outlet. Alright guys, so I have the old outlet out. Okay, now remember I was telling you guys about these clips. Lighting. Okay. So these old style, not really old style, but okay, the wires are going in here. Okay, and all I did was I got this little, I don't even know what this is on my tool. Something hard. You can use like maybe a couple paper clips, and you just push into this little box right here. It releases the wire. So the wire goes in that circle hole, right? And all I did was I pushed into that little rectangular hole with this, and it releases the wire. And that's how I get the wires out. Okay. Now I have the wires exposed. This is not a good setup. You do not want to turn the circuit breaker on at this point, because if any of these wires touch, they are going to short, again, possibly cause a fire or cause some serious issues. Okay, so at this point, you know, you're at the point of no return. You got to get this job done. Okay, now if you guys notice, there's the line wires, which we have marked. These are load wires. And over here we have the ground wire. Okay, that goes to, usually there's a little marked green screw or bolt at the bottom. Okay, and that's what the ground wire attaches to, this piece right here. Okay, so here's my new outlet. This is my GFCI AFCI. Okay, ground fault control interrupter, or arc fault control interrupter. Okay, now if you guys notice on the back, okay, it's all labeled. Okay, it says line. Okay, so my line wires, the top wires, they're capped. You're gonna go here, and over here, this is the load wires. It's under this tape. Okay. Over here should be marked as load. Anyways, okay, I'll show you guys once it's installed, but just follow. Again, do not do this at home. Do it with someone that knows what they're doing. Follow the instructions. Okay, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward from here. Okay, so this is me. I connected the white wires. Okay, you gotta make sure to follow the instructions. It'll say white wires on one side. Okay, top is the line, bottom is the load. Okay, and then the black wires or hot wires are on the right side here. Okay, and then same thing, yeah, hard to see, but basically you just put them in these terminals, and then you tighten down those screws, those bolts. Okay, make sure they're nice and tight, that way they don't slip out. You might just want to pull at them, make sure that they're in there tight. They're in there tight, yeah. Okay, and again, the trickiest part personally is getting this this ground wire right here. For this one, I'm gonna have to get it at the bottom. See that? It's a little tricky sometimes. Just it's not a lot of wire to pull at. So I'll show you guys once that's connected. Alright guys, so there is the finished product. It's in the wall. From there, I just got to put on this faceplate. Very easy. Just 2 screws. Put that bad boy on. Jeez. Oops. Okay, 2 screws. Pop it on. Good to go. So I'll show you once the wall plate is on, and just basically how to reset everything and show off how it works. Alright guys, so here is my newly installed GFCI AFCI outlet. Okay, as you can see, everything looks pretty good. A little bit of a gap. My house kind of old. My house was built in like 1974, so you know, there's a little crack right here, but not a big deal. Okay, but anyways, now I know I installed this correctly. Can anybody guess why? Anybody see it? Okay, that little green light right there. Okay, that means the green light is on, everything is good to go. This is actually the second outlet I installed because I had this outlet actually installed, so it took me a little longer. Had this outlet installed, okay, and the green light went on, but I wasn't able to push the test button. And it was kind of freaking me out. I was like, what is wrong? Did I wire it wrong? Did I do something incorrect? It wouldn't reset, it wouldn't press test, and nothing would work. The outlet didn't work. And so I rechecked everything, and basically I determined that it was the outlet itself. This test button just kind of stuck. Okay. Every once in a while you'll get, faulty devices. Every once in a while you get something that, has a defect. So this one was just defective from the factory. I'm going to return it to Amazon. I bought these off Amazon. But I installed this other one. Luckily I bought 5 of them. I'm going to try to rewire my whole house with these. But I installed this one right off the bat. I was able to verify that it was working. Okay, so again, this faulty one, the green light went on, but then when I plugged things into it, nothing happened. Okay, so with this one, okay, one way to see if it's working is press test. Okay, so I'm gonna press test and watch what happens. That little button pops out. Okay, basically that is tripping like a circuit breaker type of mechanism. Okay, so right now that circuit is off. So automatically this outlet, if it detects any kind of shorting, any kind of ground faults, or if it detects any kind of arc faults in the circuit, it automatically turns the circuit off to protect from any fires, any kind of anybody getting electrocuted. Okay, so let's say my son got up here somehow, stuck a fork in here. Okay, hopefully this outlet would turn off before he gets really badly hurt. Yeah, and so that's why I'm installing these all over my house. The thing is, it also protects every other. It protects everything else on that circuit. So I have these lights turned on and these lights turned off as well. Okay, so all the electrical components on the circuit are protected as well by this one outlet. Okay, now check it out. When I press reset, this is how I know it works. Green light turns back on, and watch what happens. Okay, that's my my kitchen lights. Okay, those turn back on. Alexa, turn kitchen white. Okay, and there we go. It's back to normal. Okay, so that tells me that now this entire circuit, so my entire kitchen, which is tied into this outlet, is protected by this GFCI, AFCI outlet. Okay, and basically on here it reminds you, but you want to test these outlets every month. So all you gotta do is press test, turns off the circuit, press reset, and that just determines whether it's working properly or not. And so this is my quick little electrical install. There's my son talking.